Brad J with another edition of Tame Your Talent, your online training for hosting, for MC, for radio, from broadcasting to podcasting. That's what I'm here all about. TameYourTalent.com and Tame Your Talent on social media. Here's what we're going to talk about today. All right, we've talked about a lot of things so far, but how about being memorable? Now, if you are an announcer, you want to be memorable. You don't want to be that guy that someone, oh, I remember that show. That was kind of interesting. It was all right, but it wasn't that good. You weren't memorable. Maybe you don't get hired back. But if you're memorable and people remember you after doing the job, then you can get hired back for many, many jobs. In fact, being memorable, other people see you being memorable, and you can continue to get more and more jobs. That's the key. What do people remember about the show? Did you make it entertaining? Did you do something that was not that good? And it goes to, before I get into the whole spiel about being memorable and how to be memorable, if you think about it this way, when I first started out, I was an announcer guy, and that was basically my name. So if you needed a guy to announce something, somebody would probably say, oh, I know this announcer guy that you can hire, okay? And it wasn't by my name, it was just an announcer guy. And that's what I was the announcer guy. So somebody would hire me, I'd come out and do the job, then I'd be memorable. They would enjoy what I did. Their sponsors would like what I did. The people that were there at the show would love it. The athletes would love what I do and did at the time. So that was memorable to them. So what did that do for me? That helped me get more jobs. That helped me get hired by more people. And that's what it was about, being memorable. And that's how it came to me. And then after a while, it wasn't, I know this announcer guy. It was, hey, can we get Brad J? Can we get Brad J to come out there and do that? And that's where I came in, by being memorable. And now I went from just an announcer guy to an actual name. So if someone has a big event, and no matter where it is in the world, I'm the guy to do the event because I'm Brad J. Let's get Brad J. He saw it, he knows how to do it. Now, how do you do it? Well, there's many different ways. Having your own little style. Like I do this a mountain biking webcast called Crankworks, where we travel to Canada, we travel to France, we travel to different locations, New Zealand, and we do mountain biking competition. Well, the way I start my webcast is I start with this. Oh yeah, time to welcome the world to Whistler, BC, Canada. That's how I do it. So now it becomes to a point where people always know that that's how I'm going to start that show. So it's familiar to them. They like the sound of it. And people always ask me or even tease me when they see me for the first time. Hey, Brad, what's going on? Oh, yeah. And they do that to me because it's memorable. It sticks in their head as something that I do. And it's not something, you don't want to have too many phrases. In fact, when I first started doing surf reports, the one thing I'd always end the surf report with every single time would be, and that's your surf report for your Tuesday. I'm Brad J, and I'll see you in the water. And that was my way, much like the, oh yeah, in the water. Those were my taglines. And to this day, I have not done a surf report in I don't know how many years, but people still bring that up to me because it's memorable to them. And even with the Los Angeles Clippers. So working in the NBA, that's a tough job to do. When you're on court in the NBA, that's a tough one. You got 16,000 screaming fans at the Staples Center all over you. So I started figuring out a way to be memorable at that as well. And the way I found to be memorable at that is I always found when the contest ended, it was kind of flat. Okay, and that's the end of the Staples shootout. And you walk off the court and it's quiet. So I started thinking, well, how can I change that? How can I be memorable there? And being memorable was all about getting the crowd to make some noise for the team. So first time I finished the competition and I go, I'm gonna try this. And I went, all right, fans, you know what to do. Make some noise for your Los Angeles Clippers. And I do a little punch at the mic, and that was my memorable thing. So the crowd would go wild, and that was something that they loved. And to this day on social media, I still get Clippers fans reminding me of when I used to do that. And to me, that's about being memorable and touching different lives. When people come out to a competition, they're being touched by the way you deliver it. So if you're an announcer and you're just going through the motions and you partied too much the night before and all you want to do is just get through the show, you're not doing justice to the people that have spent the money to come out there or the people that are watching online at home. Be memorable. In fact, it reminds me of one more thing to talk about. I was hosting the U.S. Open of snowboarding, the Burton U.S. Open of snowboarding. Back in 2010 and 2011, I hosted that in Vermont. So one year, I think it was the 2010, and this was for ABC, so this is a big time show. I'm there, and I'm watching professional snowboarder Jack Matrani talking with guys like Danny Davis. These are all professional, big time snowboarders. And I hear Jack Matrani on the microphone doing a little camera shoot, and he goes, "Make some noise for Danny Davis." And I looked, and that's exactly how I always announced Danny Davis when he'd win competitions, no matter what, when I'd introduce him when he dropped in the pipe. That's how I introduced him. That was the way I was being memorable. And the way I was being memorable struck a chord with Jack Matrani, professional snowboarder, and he added that to his show. And he's a television host. He does a million things on TV, but he imitated me. Imitation, the highest form of flattery, and that is what it's about. So when you're gonna be memorable, that's what I talk about by being memorable. Have your lines, figure it out that people are gonna remember you by. And then you can go from just being that announcer guy to an actual name where they call you by name to come out there and do it. And you know what? You're learning it from me, Tame Your Talent host, Brad J. Over 1,500 live events I've announced over the years from so many different events, proven success, and I wanna give this to you. I wanna help you become the talent that you can be. I want you to be able to tame your own talent. So that's what it's about as far as be memorable. TameYourTalent.com, that's the website, TameYourTalent.com, and then on social media as well, it's Tame Your Talent. If you want to send me an email, I'd love to hear from you. TameYourTalent@gmail.com. And remember, when you're announcing, be memorable.